All right, what's good, people? I am Swavor. This is Opinionated Facts. And today we're going to be talking about Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna's situation. And today I have with me, Mr. Q. So start from the right and go to the left. So what's up to the people?
What's going on, people?
I got Mrs. Journey to be great, CC.
Hello, people.
Coco Love.
Hi.
My guy Elliot.
What's going on, everybody?
And myself. If you've had to have heard about the situation, if you have any kind of social media that you pay attention to. And so for the people on the panel that we have here today, what do y'all think about this situation?
It's interesting. I guess it's kind of, it makes you feel a little bad for her, just a little bit. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very messy. It seems like it's a lot more coming out than what I think maybe she intended. So,
I was thinking too, like the Kardashians are always in something. I thought about that. Like, they're always in something, man. There's always something going on. I guess that's what happens when you have a lot of power and a lot of money.
Right.
So I guess I'll just start it out by saying, I don't understand what Rob could have expected. Like, this is a woman, and I don't want to bash her, like in a negative way. I just want to keep it real. So this is somebody that already had a child by another celebrity, a rapper. And what was his expectation? What do you guys think?
I mean, I was just going to say, I wouldn't say you're wrong for saying that per se. But we don't necessarily know like what he saw. Like, we don't know what she's like. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like she was a stripper. I don't know if she still was at the time. I'm thinking she wasn't. Like I'm thinking like that she was maybe like when she first met Tyga. But after that, like I'm thinking she was just kind of maybe like in videos and just just kind of like I don't know, like a socialite kind of sort of after that. So I don't know. I mean, but we, like I said, we don't know, what I'm saying, what she was like behind closed doors, so
Yeah,
and then well, no, we don't. No, we don't. We don't really don't know that. I mean, that's just what she did, like to, I don't know, get money. And like we don't know how long ago that was either. You know what I'm saying? Because like she was with Tyga for a good little minute too. So I'm sure she wasn't stripping anymore once she got with him. I mean, in my mind, like you wouldn't really need to.
Well, I guess that's if he's taking care of her or whatever. But
yeah,
who knows? But then I'm gonna ask the guys though. This is for the guys. Could y'all date somebody that had one child already and was, I guess, either a stripper in their past or currently a stripper? Could you do
it? I'll go. I'll say yes, but past life, because everybody got a past and you can change. And also if she like on her entrepreneur stuff, which I think Chyna is, and she does like know how to get the bag in her own way and stay relevant. And I mean, she don't really need a significant other to make money. It's just, I guess, the media and stuff can portraying that like she needs them when she really don't. Like she got her own platform.
Okay. So what about you, E? Could you date either a former stripper or a current stripper with one child?
I could date a former, not a present, just because I feel like it just the lifestyle, that lifestyle is not like a fast lifestyle, so I feel like once you're in that lifestyle, it's kind of hard to be in a relationship, a real relationship, you know what I mean? But like you were saying, everybody has a past, so what you do in your past, that don't have nothing to do with what you do in the present, you know what I mean? So
Well, you're right, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be real, man. Maybe I'm the oddball. I have to be the oddball in this situation, but I just can't do it. I think I'm gonna be real, and the reason I'm saying that is because, man, I personally, and again, this is just me, man. That's kind of bad to say, but I guess I'm really funny about, I guess my lady and her lady parts, and I don't necessarily want to share, my
I
lady
feel you.
parts, what I'm saying, with the world. Like if I'm walking in the mall and somebody like, man, I see, I'm with my with my lady, I'm like, man, yo, she got a nice body. I mean, it's just paranoid in my mind because I'm just thinking like, man, what if she gave that man a lap dance or something? Or,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, no. Did they? They looking at you sideways and stuff, and you like, man, what are you looking at? The only thing in your mind could be like, you look over at your lady like, oh, so that's what's going on. She's like, I'm talking about. See, it's just hard, man. It's just hard. It's hard for me. So I have to say I cannot do it. What about you, ladies? Ladies, could you date a guy?
Absolutely not.
Hey, she
Cause
ain't
I
even let the question get out there.
Cause I already, and I used to like many years ago, like when I was like 18, 19, used to go to the this place here, the used to be called a Rose. And they used to have like the male strippers there. And I would go from time to time, but it's just like, just the oily men and just doing, no, I'm just not feeling it. No, so no, I can't.
Yeah, I agree. I could not. I've been to a male strip club before. I think when I turned 21 or something like that, it was in Atlanta. And while it was entertaining, they was doing a lot with all of these different women. And all
Yeah.
it takes is one time for me to see a video of you doing your quote unquote job, and I'm up there, and it's so no.
You put whipped cream where? I'm just playing. We
No,
go.
I mean, they were doing some crazy stuff. So yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
Man, you know what? That is something. No, that is a trip. But because if you look at it from the flip side, I guess if I was a stripper, it's something that happened in my life, I wouldn't want to be judged like that. So I guess it's a double standard for me. But yeah, I can't do that. But let's move a little bit further in the conversation. As far as like, why do you guys think that they are here? Do you think that they played a role? Because I know that they're talking about some abuse that relationship. Like they had, I think it was a season on E about their relationship.
I mean, you don't know what happened. Like, you don't know completely like in closed doors, as he said, but just the stuff on the show, it seemed like, if anything, it seemed like Rob was more so, with the emotional or, like mental abuse. Like he would say, again, it's been a while since I seen it. I never really watched the show like that, but just the little clips and stuff you seen. I mean, he would just kind of, antagonize some stuff, or he would, kind of just let some stuff boil over, or just do some things, or just, wouldn't do what he supposed to be doing. And then it seemed like she would, get mad with him. And that might have been where the physical came into. But I definitely do think that, both of them played a part. I think that, especially with Rob, a lot of times, and I know, he struggles with like mental problems and everything like that. But I feel like honestly he uses that as an excuse, because it seemed like he was using that as an excuse then.
I watched it a little bit here and there, and I like kind of what going back to what Elliot was saying. I don't think he was physical or whatever. I think he was like verbally, maybe like emotionally. I think he was also insecure because of where he was at that time when she came along. He was really like I think depressed prior to her coming along, and like in his room, I don't know what was wrong, like what happened, but he was really overweight. And yeah, like I don't know, he was just like, I remember it was one clip, one show in particular where he had like tried to go through her phone or something when she wasn't around, and she was just like, what are you trying to go through my phone for? Like, she was like asking him, what are you trying to see? And his answer was just, I mean, he was just caught, like you think she's doing something she shouldn't be doing, and you just come out with it. So, but I think she probably was. I think she was probably physical, and I think that just kind of goes back to whatever she saw. Like, I know her relationship with her mom is like really bad. Like, I think they're good now, maybe, but it was really bad. Like, her mom, I would say, was very verbally abusive to her. Her mom, I don't know, like as far as like upbringing and stuff, like as far as raising China. I'm not really sure, but I just know, like, I think her mom had like alcohol and or drug issues, big abuse issues, and I think that even now, like there are clips of them now, like going at it, like they want to fight. So I think, and who knows what else, she's gone through, whatever in her upbringing in her past. So I think that's how she handles disputes. And of course, there have been people, with them being in court, there have been people that have been testifying saying that they have come in and have seen them two going at it, but it was more so her going at him. So yeah, I think it's, I think they both are at fault, because if I'm around somebody and I see that that's how they handle themselves when they're upset, I'm not about to poke the bear, like I'm not about to bother you and say stuff like that to antagonize you, knowing that you're gonna go across my head. Like that's so I don't know. I think they both are at fault for sure.
And like I think it, more than likely it went both ways, but I think what it kind of comes down to, like, two broken people got together and, you know, try to have this relationship. Well, I want to maybe a relationship, but I think more so like a business arrangement, because according to his testimony in court, their proposal was kind of used to get this show from E, so it was just toxic all the way around. And unfortunately, a child got brought into the midst of this, you know, to get ratings, to get a show and get ratings.
Yeah, I want to respond to that in a second. Q, do you have anything you want to say about that?
Well, in regards to the show, what Cece was saying, I'm just going to add this about the show. They like the whole purpose. Well, I say the reason that Chyna was able to be on a show that was on E Network is because of the Kardashian name. Like they already had history with being on E, so it's not like she had the show before them. It was like after the fact. So I don't see why she was like kind of trying to sue behind that when her and the brother weren't together anymore. And it's like, why are they still going to have you on the show? It was basically a spinoff of their own show.
That's interesting, leading up to the legal issues, because, the highlight that caught my attention was when they were talking about how she allegedly put a gun to Rob's head and also was choking him with a cord. I think it's an iPhone cord. I'm first of all, I'm having a hard time. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm having a hard time believing, like, how was this possible?
What you mean? How is it possible? You mean like physically, like by him being like bigger than her? Like what do you mean?
Like I really couldn't understand that. Now I'm not saying it can't happen to you, but that is the part, I guess, that really stood out to me as far as the abuse goes.
I mean, he could have just been laying in the bed and she could have been,
from behind.
Yeah, I'm like that. Well, yeah, I mean, still, like, how, like, he might have been laying on like across the bed or whatever, like, or hanging on the bed or whatever, but just laying down on his stomach or something. You know what I mean? Like it's different ways to show people. I mean, that sounds bad, but not that I would know, but I'm
somebody's choking people, right?
I'm just saying.
Did you choke?
It's different ways. It's different ways to get the job done. You know what I mean? Not that I would know, but
have to start doing some investigation on Elliot.
But he could have been, he could have been tying his shoe or something. She could have, got him off guard. It's
tying the shoe. But look, okay, y'all. So, like, you don't think Rob ever threw any blows or anything? Y'all think it was just all Chyna, right?
I
I
do
think he might have
because
hit her back.
I
maybe
don't picture him hitting her because I'm pretty
yeah,
sure she would have blew that up if he had
yeah,
like choke,
She would
push,
have she would have
whatever.
blew him up.
most definitely. Yeah,
Right.
she's very powerful. Like I just feel like I could see her being aggressive towards him more than him being the aggressor towards her. And I don't know if that's because the media portrays her that way or if that's how she comes off. And
I
also
don't know. I don't
the
know if it's the media.
households, like two different households. Like I don't think Rob grew up in a household where he saw somebody beating on Kris Jenner
Nah.
or or opposed to Chyna where she probably saw her mama fight men, in that circumstance. So she prepared for this kind of stuff. Like she ready for war already.
That's interesting. I was trying to figure out where she was from earlier, and I found out that she was from Washington, D.C. And I thought that was interesting. I'm not saying that Washington, D.C. is breeding these crazy women that want to beat on men, but I'm just saying, maybe I could see Hugh's point of view there. But I was also trying to figure out. So I understand, or from my understanding, she is suing the Kardashians. I think it's specific ones, but she's suing for $40 million because they couldn't. She feels that the Kardashians, I guess, power structure with E or their partnership with E is the reason why they didn't get a second season. And I guess she's saying that that's causing her to lose a lot of money. So she's suing the Kardashians for $40 million for the current loss of earnings, and she's suing for another $60 million for the loss of future earnings. I mean, do y'all think that that's right? Or you know what I mean? Because I don't know what they was making per episode anyway on the show that she had with Rob, but I mean, 40 million.
Well, I mean, she's not lying about them having connections because once again, the whole reason that she and Rob had the show is because of the Kardashian connection with E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess and you're right, but I guess I'm asking, do you think that she's owed $100 million? Is what I'm saying.
I don't think she's owed that, but I feel like she could be entitled to some money. That's like, it was, I guess, a career. Like they had several seasons, where they made money and came up. Now they don't really have to do a show because they have other things going. But in her viewpoint, where she was at, she was set. Well, I'll make this after that. She probably already had stuff calculated, and then her and Rob didn't work out, and the family like basically served ties with her in the show behind scenes, and she knew that. And maybe we didn't see it, but we know that the family had something to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I mean, it's kind of evident, like it's clear that they obviously had something to do with it. And, it's been stated that there were text messages from, I think, like Kim and I think maybe Kris or whatever, Kris Jenner, to I guess maybe executives saying, like basically we are going to not film our show, or we're not going to be producing our show. We don't want to be in production, rather. Like basically we won't film if they, you all don't do something about this. But from my understanding, executives or producers or whatever said that they didn't go forward with the show anymore because Rob and Chyna weren't in love, which I don't know how they could even tell that. I think it really just comes down to, I think what I'm saying, because it probably had good ratings if, from what I remember, what I'm saying, if that toxic environment or whatever, I mean, that sells though. So it probably had good ratings. So they couldn't necessarily say, well, we're going to cancel you all because your ratings are low. But I mean, they could have canceled it for just safety issues, because if what other people have gotten on stands saying that they were seeing is true, then, what I'm saying, that could have been an issue where it could have been a lawsuit against E later if something like bad happened, like on, what I'm saying, like while they were filming. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel I can't blame them for not wanting to be associated with that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Especially like all the different things that have happened or whatever. And then, like I mean, if you beating on my brother, I mean, if that's what it is, what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily want to help support you be on a show doing it. I mean, hell, beat them behind closed doors. Like, I mean, I don't want that broadcasted either.
I mean, and again, like we're talking about a gun being pointed to somebody's head and things like that, like, and to continue to, I guess, glorify it, even though they may not, of course, air it, but to just continue to support that type of behavior with a TV show, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I gotta say this. I think Blac Chyna's had a lot of like just trials and tribulations. I mean, going to the relationship with her and Tyga, where she has a child with him, and now this child with Rob. And this is something I wanted to bring up too about the whole child support situation. Speaking about her making money. I gotta get all the details right here because I want to make sure I'm saying this right. But so I think Tyga, after Blac Chyna came out and said something about she's doing everything on her own as far as her child with Tyga is concerned. She's doing everything on her own with no child support. And the Tyga comes out and says, "No, I'm paying $40,000 a year for my child to go to school." And then Rob comes out. I think some kind of way he came out and said he was paying like $37,000 for the child that he has with Blac Chyna. And they were kind of going back and forth saying, "Hey, how do you pay 37 and I'm paying 40?" So, I mean, obviously she's making some good money. Well, I ain't gonna say she's making it, but she's receiving some good money and support for these children. So I think her angle is probably more so to try to get some assistance and some help. Even though she's probably an entrepreneur on her own, I don't know how much money she makes on her own. But I guess that's why I was like so big on the 40 million and the 60 million. But changing gears here, let's go over to Rob's side. Did y'all see the whole thing about Rob and this whole thing about revenge porn? How he was posting these photos with Blac Chyna? Did y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it.
So, I mean, what's your thoughts on that? I
Shouldn't
mean,
do it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I just feel like that's go ahead.
No. Finish your thought. What you were saying?
I mean, I just feel like that's child. That's kind of what I was going to like at the beginning, like, you trying to play like you victim and oh it's me and oh she doing this and oh she doing that too and stuff like that, but you really not that much of a victim because I just feel like you knew what you were getting into. Like she already, just to backtrack a little bit, I mean she already had a kid with Tyga, whatever, and Tyga and Kylie, they start, they dealings and everything like that. So I mean, you had a source to see like how she was and how she moved. You chose to do that. Like like y'all personalities didn't match. You more so, you try not to be in the limelight. She's more so in the limelight, with social media and everything like that. But you chose to still deal with her. And I just feel like that, that is a form of abuse too. Like when you it's like you antagonize somebody, you try to, mentally, berate them, trying to make them feel like they less than, and then they snap back at you, even though albeit that's still wrong, obviously, with the gun and everything like that. It's like the whole situation started with something with you. I mean, 9 times out of 10, nobody finna pull a gun out on you unless it was something that happened prior to that. Now that doesn't excuse it. It still doesn't make it right. But then you can't just turn around and act like that you had nothing to do with it, or it's just all all them, and that it's all that's just crazy and everything like that.
I agree with that. Anyone else want to expound on that a little bit?
Just on the subject of the revenge porn or whatever, the pictures or whatever, I think that's messed up. Like, I mean, it's just no other way around it. So, I mean, I think it's really childish and, kind of like what Ellie was saying, like for him to kind of seem like he was the victim. That's why I was saying, like, I think it's very much both sides. Like, I think they were just bad for each other in general because like it was just wrong. Like and like I think Cece was saying, like these are two people that were already like broken. And it shows with their actions because like why would you, I mean, you know what I'm saying, why would you do that? And I don't know when he put those out. I don't know if he put, I mean, it's wrong regardless, but I don't know, I wonder if he put those out after she had his daughter, because that just makes it like 10 times worse. Like, like how can you do that to the mother of your child?
It did. I remember now that I'm thinking about it, what you're saying. It was around Christmas time because I think he came home and she had took all the stuff out the house.
Okay.
And I think they made him delete his Instagram account or something like that. But for a while, it had went away.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Okay, so that's probably what kind of set him off a little bit. Probably a lot, but I also saw this too. They were saying that he was upset about the money that she was spending, but I don't understand how that is. I mean, because I don't know if it was his money, then obviously he must have had control over it. So I don't know how he could be mad about what he's allowing her to spend. And also, it seemed like he was a little upset about the gifts that he had given her, I guess, post the issues that they started having in their relationship. But I think for me personally, we don't really know. It's kind of like even starting out with what we were talking about earlier. We don't know where all this stuff began for real. And we don't know how we got here. I mean, we just know what the media is letting us see. But I think what I can take from this particular situation is that you just have to be careful. And it's probably not good to get with someone when you are, at a low place yourself. If you're going through a lot, it's probably best to just get some therapy.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Just get some therapy. Don't try to go and find therapy in another relationship or in some other person, especially if they're not certified.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be romantic. Anybody else got any closing remarks that they wanted to let people know, as in regards to to what we can all take from this situation between Rob and Chyna.
I saw something yesterday. It was it's not related at all, but it was basically what's her name? Toya. Dang, I forgot her last name, but Lil Wayne's ex-wife, Regine's mom.
Oh yeah, I know.
And it was, I guess Regine had a live or whatever, and Regine is young, like she's in her early 20s, I think, and she was dating Lucci, I think, YF and Lucci. Child, these rappers I can't keep up, but I think that was his name. And anyway, they broken up or whatever. They were on live, and her mom was basically giving her advice, and she said something I thought was like a great point. It was basically like, you can't be I think you can't be someone's better half if you are not whole. Something like that. And I just thought that was dope and she basically was just saying, like, because that was that was a relationship or whatever that her daughter was in. And like I said, she's young. He's a good bit older than her. And, he's having some legal issues right now. He's got a good amount of kids as well. She doesn't have any. So she has her whole life ahead of her. And, I think that the relationship might have took a little bit of a toll on her, and basically I feel like her mom was telling her, you need to heal. And I didn't even watch the live. I just saw that quote or whatever. And I just thought that was great, because I think that's very important for a lot of people, because I think a lot of people kind of heal by moving on to the next person. And that's not the way. You need to like really address and handle whatever you went through in the past before you move on to something else, because all you're going to do is carry whatever went on. Even if you think you're over it, you probably aren't, depending upon what happened, and you're just going to carry those same insecurities and that same trauma to the next one. So I thought that was a really good quote. So yeah, you can't be someone's better half if you are not whole.
A great quote.
I agree. I like that too.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to us today, and for the panel for joining us today. This is Opinion and Facts. I am Swavor. Until next time, peace.